All right, welcome to the RAMcast, where we talk about all things related to Sioux Valley. This is your host, Brian Kirby, and my co-host, Jimmy Sickler.
Happy to be here, Mr. Kirby.
All right, today we are doing another special spotlight. Today we have none other than Miss Melanie Woods.
Hello. I'm happy to be here too.
All right, I'm super excited about this. So without further ado, let's get rolling. All right, Miss Woods, why don't you tell us the name of your high school, the town, state, and mascot?
Okay, I went to Western Beaver Junior Senior High School, and it was in Industry, Pennsylvania. And our mascot was the Western Beaver Golden Beavers.
Interesting.
Mhm.
Okay.
All right. And what song, band, TV show, or movie have you been listening to or watching lately?
So I've been thinking about this one a lot because it's like Christmas time right now. So I
Yeah.
feel like all I hear is Christmas music and watch Christmas movies. But
Like Lethal
really,
Weapon?
sure. But I actually have been listening to a lot of audiobooks,
Oh,
and I usually pick them based on like memoirs and biographies. So the one I'm currently listening to is called Prescription for Pain, and it's about like a doctor who then was over prescribing pain medicine, and it was bad. But that's mostly because I really like to listen to true crime stuff, and so
nice.
that's where I'm at now.
I picked up an audiobook a couple of years ago because I wanted to try to get into it because I don't read ever. And it was this audiobook, and then I don't remember the name of it now, but the dude in the book, like one of the main characters, because it was based off true stories, was a guy that I played high school football against. It was
Really?
crazy. Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, really? So yeah, it was super
Oh
cool.
wow.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so
Hold on.
which
That's my
teacher, while you're roaming the halls there of your old alma mater, had the most impact on you, and what do you remember about them?
So I'd have to say the teacher that had the most impact on me was my 6th grade language arts teacher. Her name was Mrs. Carland, and I was the type of student who was like always always getting in trouble up until 6th grade. I think I was probably just I talked a lot. Like I was a very chatty student, and she kind of allowed me to think outside the box and kind of encouraged me to try some things out. I can remember um, we did a book report in her class, and she allowed me to do a whole like video. We did this whole news thing, and so I was allowed to work with partners on it, and so we all performed this newscast like we were living in this book, and
Hmm.
it was really creative. And now for me it's one of like my family's like funniest things to look back on is this like video of us faking the news and stuff. But she really
Nice.
allowed me to do a lot of out of the box things, and instead of like scolding me or moving me away from people, she would let me like go in the hallway, and if I was like drawing, she wasn't somebody who was going to steal my paper and throw it in the trash. She just
Okay,
kind of let me go. So I really loved Mrs. Carlin.
it's awesome.
Nice. I like to hear the middle school teachers get a shout out. Usually it's high school teachers, so that's good.
Yep.
When you were in school, what was your favorite extracurricular activity?
So I wasn't in too many extracurriculars in school. I was in drama for a little bit, but I was the mascot all 4
Yes.
years of high school, and I absolutely loved that. I could be like as weird as possible and nobody would know that it was me, and I got to go to all the football games for free and all the pep assemblies. So it was super fun just to be able to have that part in the school and just to get to go to everything without making a fool out of myself, because I wouldn't have been able to be a football player, and I didn't make it as a cheerleader. So
Okay.
So, what do we have to do to get you in the Ram suit this
Yeah,
year?
exactly.
I mean, I think I saw that thing once, and that helmet is, or that face, I don't know, the head, that's a pretty intense
It is.
thing. I don't know how that one works
You
out.
gotta have to have a strong neck. It's
Yeah.
gigantic.
I think you could pull it off. I think we get somebody to get it for you. I think we'll get you to pull it off. So, what does Miss Woods do for fun outside of school?
So I love hiking, especially like in the summer. Right now, it's kind of the lame outside. It's just ice everywhere. I haven't
Mm-hmm.
been able to run or ski or anything. But I do like to just hang out with my dog Atlas. He kind of does all the things with me. Um, I also like to go to thrift stores, do some thrift shopping. I like to paint. And I saw you at a paint class, Mr. Kirby.
I
Oh,
did.
dang.
I was
He
at
lied
it.
to me and told me he was watching football.
Dang it.
Nope, he was painting mountains.
I was.
I
Yep.
also just like to explore around Alaska. I think there's a lot of different places that I think I don't know, I try to see as many different spots in Alaska that I can get to, and I've been enjoying that.
That's awesome.
Nice. So, when you were in school, Miss Woods, what class did you find the most enjoyable?
When I was in high school, my high school offered a class called service learning, and that was my favorite class because we really worked from the very beginning to the end of these service projects. So we would find a need in the community, and sometimes they would reach out to our school, and as students in the class we would come up with a proposal for, okay, here's what we need to meet this need. We would come up with a budget or something and make a whole plan, and then we would get to go and do the service activity. And some of them were planting flowers at a park, but some of them were buying gifts for people in a girls' home. And then I can remember we did a Thanksgiving meal in Pittsburgh for homeless people. And some of the projects were really, really in depth and fun. And I just thought it was awesome to get a class where we got to do all of that stuff. And then we also found out how to get money for certain projects, and I really loved that class. Plus we went on field trips all the time, so
Yeah.
that was really fun.
Sounds like fun. Sounds like fun. So who did you have your most meaningful relationships with during your years as a student? And it doesn't need to be a teacher. It could be other students. Could be your janitor, lunch lady, custodian, anybody else in the building.
So in the building. Okay, so that one, I mean, I kind of feel like I had easygoing relationships with a lot of my teachers. But again, I wasn't always I wasn't a well-behaved student, so I think a lot of a lot of teachers did not like it when I would come in their classrooms and hang out with them. But we did, my English teacher, my sophomore, junior, and senior year, she was probably the one we kind of hung out with the most. I remember it started randomly because I worked at Subway when I was in high school with my best friend Diane, and it was right next door to a Dollar Tree, which is amazing. Nobody in Alaska would know that, but everything's actually $1 there. But we used to just go, and they would be selling random figurines or whatever, and we would just buy her one and be like, oh, we saw this and knew you'd love it. And so then she would go what in the she would try to be polite, but it would be just this weird bird with a broken neck or something. And it would be
Okay.
trying to explain why that was a good gift. But
she probably looks
Nice.
back on it and chuckles to herself too, by the way.
I'm sure.
All right. What is something you have learned about yourself since you started working with students?
So this one's interesting. I don't know how to answer this one because I know from the time that I was even in high school, when I was in even junior high, I was helping out with Sunday school and stuff. So I was always kind of a teacher in some way. And then like throughout high school, I was doing like mentor programs and stuff. But I would say that something that I've learned over the years is that I have never yet learned to handle stress. I allow myself to get overwhelmed, and I haven't yet figured out a healthy way of keeping that from happening. And so I don't know, that kind of creeps up on me all the time to where I'm like, I like to build relationships, and then it's like all the time, all of a sudden, all these grades are due, and it's like, well, shoot, I've never been very good about managing that better.
So something to work on for sure. Okay, cool. I like it. So what is something or some advice I should say that you would give your younger self either entering high school or leaving high school for post-secondary training?
Apply for scholarships. That's the absolute main advice I would give. And then don't worry
Good.
about going to like a fancy college or training. They tend to all look the same for the most part. Some of them have a little more prestige than the other, but student loans are no joke, and interest rates are no joke. And I didn't know anything about either of those things whenever I was in high school. And I know my guidance counselor used to come and talk to us about it, and I was a procrastinator and just refused to think about it. And so I'm still paying on my student loans. And so I would say apply for the scholarships, find a school that's going to allow you to graduate without being in debt for the rest of your life.
Great advice. We talk about that in personal finance as well in one of my classes, but also I kind of fell into that trap too. Went to a school that was spendy, and nobody cared where I got my degree from when I was done. So
Yep.
unless I was like from that town or something.
Yep.
So all right, what's one of the most memorable moments you've had with your students?
That's a really hard question. That's the one I had the hardest time with, because I feel like there are so many pieces that I could pull out from over the years and different things. I think I loved my AP psychology class. I loved last year's AP government class, although I really hate teaching AP, so it's super weird. But um, my drama class last year, when I was teaching at Career Tech, and I think that the common thread in those things, oh, there's the bell. I think the common thread was that they were a struggle for me, and so I think it helped the students feel less intimidated by the classes that we were in, because I was learning how to teach them at the same time as they were learning how to take them. And so it was, I think the classes, we kind of bonded over that, but then there were just a lot of really funny things in all the classes that I can't really pull out individual moments.
Understandable. So what's one of the most embarrassing things that ever happened to you in front of students?
I don't need this is like a daily occurrence for me, so I don't even want to know. I can think my first year here, I remember having on this pretty little dress and sandals, and I was up there teaching, and I don't even know what happened, but my sandals had like a wedged heel, and I just tipped right over out of them and just fell horizontal on the ground. I still have no idea how it happened, but it was pretty embarrassing.
Oh, that's funny. All right, so May 23rd, hopefully, is our last day of school. What's your plan after that? What's your summertime plan?
So I'm probably going to go home and visit my family again this summer, spend a little time down there. I'm also probably going to do some fishing. I found out last year that I absolutely love dip netting. It's like playing the lottery. I don't even know. It's just, man, that's a rush. So I loved doing that. I'm looking forward to doing that again. I have some hikes I want to go on this summer, some mountains I want to conquer. So that's
awesome.
what I feel like might be happening after May 23rd.
Sounds
Do
fun.
you ever make it to PNC Park?
Oh, yeah. I've been there so many times.
All right, one of the parks I want to get to.
Oh, it's beautiful. I recommend it. Pittsburgh's a beautiful city. I love it.
All right. So last thing. Anything else that you want to add that we didn't talk about?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't know of anything to add, so I've got nothing clever for that.
All right. So with that, we're going to conclude this special edition with Mrs. Woods. And again, this is Mr. Kirby, principal here at Sioux Valley. My co-host, Jimmy Sickler. Thank you very much, sir, for being here and taking your time.
Yes, thank you for having me.
All right. And Miss Woods, again, thank you very much for taking the time and going through this grueling interview questions series that
Thank
Jimmy and I
you.
put
This was like way more fun than I had thought I was going to be. I put way so much anxiety in my brain over this. So,
All right.
thank you.
And we appreciate you as well. And so I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast as another way to connect with our Sioux Valley community. Hope to see you at the next school event or around the community. Thanks for listening.